Hey everyone, Marty Snyder and the entire almost IndyCar on NBC team. We can't wait to get to St. Pete this weekend where it kicks off the 2023 season. Want to get some predictions of how we think things are going to go in 2023. We'll start with a question of which driver or team is really under the most pressure. So Diff, you're our lead man. We'll start with you. What do you think?
Well, it's a tough one, Marty, as we look forward to this really exciting season with 27 cars lining up at St. Petersburg this weekend. It's always a tricky situation to do predictions, but I think Andretti Autosport and Kyle Kirkwood are under some pressure. We were talking about Kyle before he even got to IndyCar. This is a phenomenally talented young American driver. We've seen what he can do in sports car racing in the IMSA WeatherTech series with Vassar Sullivan Racing in the Lexus. But last year, I think for the majority of us, we predicted that Kyle would be the rookie of the year, and it didn't turn out that way. Now he ends up where he's always wanted to be, at Andretti Autosport. So I feel that the pressure is on this young man.
How about you, Townsend?
Well, I think Kyle Kirkwood's a good pick for sure. I like Diff's call there, but I'll go with Jack Harvey. Second year with Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan. This was a driver that we were all talking about a few years ago on the verge of winning his next race, his first race, I should say. But I think Jack Harvey is really under the gun here to perform. There's a new technical director brought into the team. The expectations are going to be really high. I know he was disappointed last year, finished 22nd in points. This is an opportunity for Jack Harvey to step forward and prove that he belongs in IndyCar all the time and for many years to come. So I think Harvey's one that I'll be watching. It's tough to get going out of the gate there at St. Pete. He's a driver used to winning in the lower formulas coming up through Indy Lights, the 2012 British F3 champion. So Jack Harvey's my pick for driver under the most pressure.
That's a great point by Townsend, Hinch. I mean, to me, after that wreck at Texas, he was never really the same, but a lot of time to recover. Who do you think's under the most pressure this year?
Yeah, it's a funny topic because I think there are quite a few people that really are feeling that pressure in 2023. Those are both great picks. I'm going to go with Felix Rosenqvist. We already know that McLaren has signed Alex Palou for 2024. That seat essentially is gone. So he's either driving to convince McLaren to run a fourth car for him and keep him in the fold, or he's auditioning for whatever other seats are available. He didn't really have as good a week or season start as he wanted. But did always still show some promise, kept that seat for another year. So for me, Felix Rosenqvist is, in a sense, driving for where he's going to end up next year. But, as far as teams go, I'm really looking at Rahal, Leonard, and Lanigan as a team that's under a lot of pressure. They did not perform very well last year, expanding to 3 cars. And now they've had a bunch of investment in facilities, in people, human resources, technical resources. So from a driver standpoint, I say Felix. From a team standpoint, I'm looking at Rahal.
Someone's at a racetrack. Kevin, is that you?
It is.
Right? Are you inside the racetrack? Sounds like you're on top of a turn.
I am at the hairpin, turn 7. It's part of my Avoid Indiana tour. I love Indiana, but not so much in January, February. So I spent a lot of time in Florida. So I got started early with a junior Formula car testing at Sebring to begin the week. So I guess I'll go next. I had Jack Harvey number 1, Felix Rosenqvist number 2 for the reasons mentioned. I've heard Elio Castroneves' name mentioned quite a bit, that he's going to have to show that he still belongs full-time and is still competitive. But I'm not going there because I can't say there's pressure on a guy who's won the Indy 500 4 times and has done what he has done. It's all a bonus from here. So from a driver perspective, I'm going to choose Romain Grosjean. He has been hired. Results are expected. It did not go as well as he wanted or the team wanted in 2022. I think they'll be better. And if he's going to continue at the level he's at, it's probably going to need to be better for him this coming year.
And Kevin, my thoughts on it are Devlin DeFrancesco from Andretti Autosport. And not so much because Devlin's not going to stay in the sport. I would fully expect him to, but my understanding is this is the second of a 2-year deal with Andretti Autosport. And so now he is under pressure to perform. With Andretti seemingly coming out of kind of a low last year, if they get on their game, Devlin had better get on his game if he's going to stay with Andretti. So we'll see how it works out for the driver of the 29.
How about a breakout season, Diff? Who are you thinking will have a breakout 2023?
Well, I think last year was his breakout season, but I think he's going to continue to get even better, and that is Christian Lundgaard of Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. This guy's extremely mature for his age. He racked up a considerable amount of top tens last year and seems unflappable. He seems so together for his young age. And now that there are no more black holes, he knows what is expected of him in the NTT IndyCar Series. He knows what his teammates are like. He knows the game, so to speak. So I only see bigger and better things ahead for Christian Lundgaard.
Yeah, Marty, for me, the breakout driver is kind of a re-breakout driver. I think it's going to be Alexander Rossi. I'm so excited to see what he can accomplish with race engineer Craig Hampson moving over to Aero McLaren for the first time. It just feels like Rossi is ripe for a renaissance and getting back to all those dominant winning ways that he was used to a couple years ago. So that combination of Craig Hampson, arguably the best race engineer in the field, certainly somebody that's proven time and time again to take new drivers into his fold and make them winners, make them champions. You know, Brian Barnhart calling the strategy on the box over on Rossi's car. That's the one I'm most excited about, and I think he could post some pretty devastating numbers this season.
Yeah, it's funny thinking about Alexander Rossi, an Indianapolis 500 winner, as someone looking at a breakout season. But it's a great point, Townsend. For me, I'm looking further down the field. I'm looking to a smaller team. I'm looking for second-year driver Callum Ilott. I think we saw some flashes of brilliance out of him last year. It was the team's first full season in the championship. It was his first full season in the championship. But we saw some really strong performances. They've now upgraded. They've got a second car. They've really expanded the group. And in preseason testing at Thermal, they were consistently up there and consistently fast. So you got to take it kind of into account. You know he's with one of the smaller teams on the grid, so maybe we're not looking for wins necessarily out of Callum Ilott, but I think some very strong top 5 performances. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets his first podium this year, and that could really set him up well for the future. So I got my eyes as far as breakout season on Callum Ilott.
So for my breakout driver, I take Townsend's under pressure driver. I feel like Jack Harvey is going to break out this year. A couple of reasons. Second year with Rahal Letterman Lanigan. He's used to the team now, but they've made some changes. There are differences that he will see not only in the strategist stand, but his numbers change. So he's going to change his luck there as well. I see Jack Harvey in the 30 car being my breakout driver.
Kyle Kirkwood was last of the 5 rookies last year, 24th in the championship. He was quick at Thermal. I know testing doesn't tell you everything, but I think Kyle Kirkwood is going to show us why he was the winningest driver ever in the road to Indy. He's going to run up front. He's going to be in the top 10. I think Kyle Kirkwood is the breakout.
Boy, Diff, I love the Kyle Kirkwood that picked there by Kevin. So let's talk about in 2022, there were 9 winners in the NTT IndyCar Series. Can that happen again this year? So over under, do we have more than 9 winners or under 9 in 2023?
Marty, we're going to have more. We are going to have more because this series just continues to exceed our expectations and gets better and better with every year that goes by. Remember, last year was our 17th consecutive year of the championship being decided at the final round, and winners aplenty is a regular theme in this series, so I'm predicting more.
Townsend, how about you?
Well, I got to disagree with Diff. I'm counting the winners in 2023. I see all 3 Penske drivers winning a race, at least one. I see 2 Ganassi drivers with Dixon and Palou, so that gets us to 5. Then I see 1 each from Award and Rossi, and then that 8th one, you got to go Colton Herta. At that point, you're looking for somebody else to enter the fray, and I think there's definitely a second tier group fighting for that 9th win. But I think we're going to see repeat winners from the 8 that I already mentioned. And that just doesn't get us over that 8.5. So I think it's going to be 8 or less, probably right at 8.
You know, I'm not a gambling man. I've never been good at this game, but I'm going to take the over on this one. I'm with Diff. You make a great point, Townsend, but for me, I look at Joseph Newgarden last year, 5 wins. 5 wins in this series is so difficult to do, and it's so rare. More realistically, I could see him as a 2 to 3 race winner next year. That opens up a few rounds. Yeah, it could be some of those other guys getting a second win, but it could be that 9th driver getting their one on the season. So I'm going to go over.
I'm going to take the under. I feel like some of the standards in the field are going to have really, really solid years, multiple wins. And I think, though, some of the potential first-time winners or one-race winners in the series are going to pressure them. They're going to make mistakes. And so I'm going to go with the under.
I was going to go the under until we started doing the math. And I think that 8 number is a pretty good one to start with. I think those 8 will win, and there's a reason that people who pick these numbers are really good. But I'm going to go over because I think Marcus Ericsson will probably win a race again. And if he doesn't, it won't surprise me if Kirkwood or Lundgaard or maybe Rinus VeeKay wins a race. There's enough there that I think we do get the 9, so I got over.
All right, Diff, this is a good one. I like this topic that we're going to bring up next. More podiums in 2023. Romain Grosjean or Santino Ferrucci? That's a tough one, isn't it?
Before I answer that, Marty, I want to say for our viewers that we did not coordinate those answers of over, under, over, under, over. They were legitimately true and realistic answers and honest answers from all of us. Okay, so more podiums in 2023, Romain Grosjean or Santino Ferrucci. I have to say Grosjean. He's got unfinished business. Who knows how long he's going to be in the NTT IndyCar Series. We have seen flashes of brilliance from him. There are very few drivers in this field who excite the crowd like Grosjean does. Ferrucci is a darling of the crowd as well. The fans love him. The viewers love him. But I just think circumstances, yeah, I don't know. My head tells me that Grosjean's going to have more.
Yeah, I agree with Diff. Grosjean for me is an easy pick in this one. Love Santino Ferrucci and all of his effort, enthusiasm. But first year at AJ Foyt Racing, a team that hasn't seen a lot of the podium in the last 5 years. Grosjean's been on that podium, and, Grosjean is settling into that Andretti Autosport role. So give me Grosjean for more podiums in 23.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we have that same back and forth we did on the last question. I'm going to go Grosjean as well for a lot of the same reasons. Andretti Autosport, that's definitely a more buttoned up program right now than AJ Foyt Racing based on what you saw the last few seasons. Romain Grosjean, Kev mentioned it, one of the drivers under pressure. He's got to perform. Only one podium in 2022. I do believe there's more on the cards for him in 2023. And I just don't know if AJ Foyt's got the muster right now to get their cars up in podium contention with such a competitive field up at that sharp end. So I'm going to go Grosjean.
Monsieur Grosjean aussi. Too much experience, too good, too solid, and the team will be behind him. It'll be Grosjean versus Ferrucci.
I'd love to be the contrarian, but let's look at it this way. If Grosjean only has one podium, they're going to be very disappointed. If Ferrucci and Foyt, no disrespect, but if they have one podium, it is going to be a massive achievement. So unfortunately, they're not likely there yet. It should be Grosjean.
All right. So to honor our Vice President of Data Analytics, Russ Thompson, we do the pick. And we do this online every year just between us. We always predict the Rookie of the Year, the winner of the Indy 500, and the champion. I don't think I've gotten all 3 right ever in the years I've been doing IndyCar. But Diff, we'll start with you. Who's your pick for Rookie of the Year, your Indy 500 winner, and your 2023 champion?
Well, I'm happy to say that last year, Marty, on that online thing that you were talking about, I was proven wrong in Rookie of the Year and Indy 500 winner, but I was one of only 2 of us to pick Power for the championship. So I felt pretty good about that. But for this year, I think I may start a bit of a snowball effect here with Rookie of the Year. I would be highly surprised if Marcus Armstrong, the young New Zealander coming from the world of Formula 2 racing in Europe, if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year. For the Indy 500 and the champion, I'm going to go maybe a little bit off here, but I feel that Graham Rahal of Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan, his time is well overdue. Graham should have been an Indianapolis 500 winner by now. I think this year is going to be GR's year. And for the champion, Colton Herta of Andretti Autosport. I think all of those unforced errors that he has made in the past are going to be erased. New contract, feeling good, and I think Colton Herta is going to be the 2023 NTT IndyCar Series champ.
Marty, for me, Rookie of the Year is I'm gonna go out on a whim, especially because last year we were so surprised because, as pointed out earlier, Kyle Kirkwood finished last among the full-time rookies, and I thought he'd be a shoo-in for that based on his pedigree. So I'm gonna correct course here and go Agustin Canapino. And here's why. Here's an Argentinian driver that has essentially no open wheel experience. Started winning in touring cars pretty much right away when he started. He's 33 years old. He's done very little travel even outside of Argentina. So all of those things you would think he doesn't have a chance, but he showed up at Thermal, and I thought that we would be looking at a driver that was a couple seconds off the pace, maybe had a bunch of spins and was way, way out in front of, over the tips of his skis on this deal. Quite the contrary. He was absolutely in the mix. He was quicker than a lot of veteran drivers, including guys like Graham Rahal at that test. He blew me away with how quickly he settled in. I don't think it's going to be gangbusters out of the gate, but he strikes me as someone that's very measured, learns quickly. And if I look over the balance of the season, I think he'll rack up the most points as a rookie. For Indy 500 winner, give me Scott Dixon. Dominant last year, should have won it, had that pit speed penalty. Nothing's changed really with these cars, these engines, these setups. Ganassi was so strong. His teammate Marcus Ericsson ended up winning. I think Dixon will correct course here, get the job done for the 500. And for the champion, for me, it's Scott McLaughlin. I mean, if you look at the progression of McLaughlin over the last 3 years, the learning curve is over. The apprenticeship is up. He repeats with Ben Bretzman as his race engineer. I think the only weak point in the game might be a little more learning required at Indianapolis, but double points are out the window there now. So a bad Indy doesn't hurt you as much. But give me McLaughlin over the course of the IndyCar season. The guy's winning races now. It's all tuned up. He knows how to go on a dominant championship run. He did that in touring cars. He's my pick for the IndyCar champion in 23.
I mean, all good bets all around. For me, I think I'm looking rookie of the year. I really like Marcus Armstrong. I think he's got a lot of pace. He's obviously with a fantastic team, but he is missing the oval races with Indy not being double points. Like you said, Townsend, that kind of maybe favors it a little bit, but I was really impressed last year with what David Malukas was able to do in a Dale Quinn racing car. So let's look at Stingray Robb. Finished second in the Indy Lights Championship. He could be one of those sort of surprises. He's going to be running the full season. He knows all the tracks already for the most part, unlike a Marcus Armstrong, unlike a Canapino. So I'm going to go Stingray Robb for Rookie of the Year. As far as 500, man, it is tough to bet against Scott Dixon. But I don't know. There's just been some kind of bad luck omen around him. I almost want to not bet on him just to maybe give him that chance. I like Lee's line of thinking. I'm going to go Marco Andretti. He's focused on one IndyCar race for the entire season. It's the Indy 500. That team knows how to win there. They struggled with championships lately, but they have not struggled with Indy 500 wins. So I'm going to go Marco Andretti for the 500 and championship. I'm going Joseph Newgarden. 5 wins on the season last year. If it wasn't for that mechanical failure in Iowa, he would have been the champion with a 6th win. Unheard of in how competitive the series is at the moment. I think he is hungry. I think he has unfinished business from last season. Penske is firing on all cylinders with all 3 drivers. I think Joseph Newgarden is in line for his 3rd title.
So, Marty, my last 2 teammates have made my points, and I'm going to agree with both of them in different ways. Let me start with the 500 and the champion. I'm right on board with Townsend Bell. Dixon fixes the problems. Dixon wins the 500. As far as the championship goes, yeah, I picked McLaughlin. He's a stud. He's done it before. He just had to learn IndyCar. He had to learn the ropes. He had to learn the car. Last year, he proved he could get it done, and he is so motivated in year 3. I see McLaughlin as the champion. So what about the Rookie of the Year? Hinch, I agree. Stingray Robb. Not only do I love to say his name again and again, and we'll tell you that story this year, but he has a veteran group behind him. Dale Coyne and Don Bricker did a great job engineering and strategizing for Takuma Sato last year in the Coyne RWR car. I think they'll do it again this year with this young rookie, and I see Stingray Robb being this year's Rookie of the Year.
I thought long and hard about that as well, but I'm going to stick with Marcus Armstrong. And with double points going away at the Indy 500, it doesn't impact him as much by missing that race. He's only doing the road and street course events, but he's been good in testing. He's with a championship level team. I think he scores enough points, even in the limited schedule, to be the Rookie of the Year. For the Indianapolis 500, Scott Dixon, in some ways, is my pick every year and will be till he wins it again. But I want to be different. Everybody is picking Dixon. I think the Andretti cars are going to be strong. Honda has been good. Meyer-Shank is still associated with Andretti. So I'm going to say Elio, who seems to win every big race recently, from the Rolex 24 to the Indy 500. He wins number 5. And I almost picked Scott McLaughlin for a second straight breakout of the year, because I think he's going to win the championship, getting even better. So McLaughlin is my pick for the championship.
So Townsend, before I give my picks, I think we have to give a ration of grief to Hinch for the Marco Andretti pick. I didn't see that one coming. I'm wondering if Marco slipped him a 20 before we
I mean, I know you guys spent a lot of time together, James, in the off season, sipping Cristal down there in the Bahamas. But I mean, Marco, come on, I forgot he was even on the entry list. I mean, talking about a guy that was on pole a few years ago. I don't think he let a lap that race with a really fast car. And listen, I love me some Marco Andretti. He's awesome, and I would be the first one to sprint out of the top of the pagoda down to the track to salute him if he could pull it off. It would be amazing. And I have mad respect for Indy 500 one-offs, as you know. But, man, I didn't see that coming. How do you defend that position?
Well, look, I mean, to Kevin's point, I'm not the only one that thinks that Andretti has their stuff sorted at the Speedway. I do think they can still be competitive there, better than anywhere else. And Marco's coming off an interesting year. He won himself the SRX championship. I think his confidence is higher than it's ever been. I think he's spent a lot of time working on getting the group around him within Andretti Autosport that he wants. Like I said, he's focused exclusively on that one IndyCar race. That's what gets Marco Andretti out of bed in the morning, is the Indianapolis 500. There's not another race he wants to do all year long. If he just had to do one race a year, that's it. He'd give up everything else. And he's come so close in the past. Yes, the last few years have not gone particularly well, but I think he's in a different place personally. I think he's in a different place professionally, having taken that championship, beat some very, very experienced drivers at kind of their own craft in a bit of a different world from what he's used to. I think he's going to take some of that and apply it here. And I don't know. I've always kind of had $20 on him over the years, so it'd be interesting to see if he could actually pull it off. And you'd have to race me out of the pagoda to get down there first to congratulate him.
Don't worry, we won't remind you of this during the month of May at all, will we, Townsend?
No, Marty. Let's just chalk it up to the Nassau Kool-Aid. Let's
yeah, exactly. Real quick, my picks. I'm going to go Marcus Armstrong, Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to score a ton of points. I mean, I talked to Barry Wanzer about him, and his word was just wow. So impressed with him in testing. Indy 500, I'm going with Alexander Rossi. I think, McLaren's been close last few years. I think Rossi can kind of help put them over the edge. And I agree with the McLaughlin picks for the championship. I spent a lot of time with him in the offseason. And the one thing he kept telling me, I know how to race for championships. He won a lot down in Australia, and I think he's going to bring that mentality with him, certainly to the 2023 IndyCar season. Can't wait to get to St. Pete. Of course, all the practices and qualifyings are on Peacock this weekend. NBC, noon on Sunday, the first race of the NTT IndyCar Series this year in 2023. The first 7 races are on NBC. Can't wait to bring them all to you guys at home.